Okay,
When
now we've done it. Now we can start.
I will
So welcome
share my
everybody. Welcome everybody. Maybe we don't have to show the slide, and it may be enough to say that it's lovely we can see you all, and we love to see your faces, but we do want to announce that we're streaming this on YouTube, and you will be on YouTube, and you might be visible. And this is wonderful for as long as you feel comfortable. And if you don't, just switch off your camera. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome here on the Wednesday Web Jam. All of you who've been around for some time and all those new faces, welcome. And where have you landed here? We consider this a learning community, and you might have recognized by now that we do things wrong sometimes, and sometimes we just fail forward. And this is explicitly the program that we have here. We love to experiment, we love to try new things, and sometimes we fail. And we invite you all to be part of this today, and you'll be juggling with tools, and you might, experience that not everything goes well at first try. So what do we have to expect today? We will learn something about Derrida and the philosophy of the frame. And our guest is Fieke Sluijs, and she's a Dutch facilitator and designer. She's from, I hope I pronounced this right, from Woerden in the Netherlands. And she's been a long-term member of this creative village. And those of you who know her already, you know that she's great at design doing, because you might have recognized her drawings. She's a graphic recorder as well. She's doing all the graphic recordings for us, all by her own initiative, by the way. But today she will be enlarging on the thinking part of the design thinking. Thank God I have the support of all the team, plus the incredible Mimp who's doing the Zoom Jane today.
Thank you.
So Mimp is back. And this is what we will do. We will get an introduction by Fieke into the philosophy of Derrida. And this is beautiful. I'm looking forward to this already. And then we will dive into the experience of a table. Yes, a table. And then we will stretch the frame, and then we stretch it further, and a lot, I hope. Just in case, have pen and paper ready. And now, Fieke, it's your stage, please. You go.
Thank you very much for the amazing introduction. You set the standard high. I have to remind myself all the time, it's failing forward. So possibly something will go wrong, but that's the purpose of the web jam. Okay, why should we bother doing some philosophy as designers or design thinkers? And why am I going to talk about the thinking parts of design thinking? Because it's all about practicing and doing. Well, I can only tell for myself, and I found out that philosophy is like training your brain muscles. It's like a workout for your brain and for your thinking. So it's it might be also very helpful for you as a designer or a design thinker. I went to art school studying graphic design, and I went to university studying art and culture science, and I did my master in aesthetics, which is the philosophy of art or the philosophy of beauty. And I studied a lot of Western philosophers like Plato until Nietzsche and Heidegger, and a lot of postmodern philosophers like Jacques Derrida, who is the focus of our philosophy today. And I've experienced that philosophy actually helped me a lot in my design thinking career. It, for example, helped me to think different. And it helped me a lot to view things from multiple perspectives, which is really helpful as a designer and a design thinker. It helps me navigate ambiguity, and this word ambiguity will also come back when I talk about the philosophy of Derrida. It also helped me a lot with getting more confident to design, to design and think my way out when I'm stuck. And ultimately, it gave me the freedom of thought, the freedom of mind. So today, we will focus on a concept called framing. And for us design thinkers, it's a familiar concept. And from there, it's only a small step to the philosophy of Derrida. For us design thinkers, a frame means a perspective on a situation. And framing means exploring multiple perspectives or viewpoints on a situation. This is Derrida. And Derrida, he sees the frame as something different. The concept of a frame that could be literally the border outside a painting. So it's the end of a painting, which marks the border between the outside and the inside of the painting. And he also takes a look at the frame as a more philosophical concept. And then he calls it the par ergon. And that word is constructed of para and ergon. Para means besides or additional to, and ergon means the work, in this case, the work of art. So he questions, is the frame actually a part of the work of art, or isn't it? Is it external? Framing in Derrida's philosophy, it means capturing the essence of art, for example. And a lot of philosophers in our Western philosophy history try to grasp the essence of art and saying this is art and this is not art, when they distinguish a piece of Picasso from a child's painting. Now let's take a look at another concept, philosophical concept of Derrida, which is called deconstruction, and he got famous for his deconstruction. He sees all Western philosophy as some kind of thinking. All Western thought is based on an idea of a center, of an origin, of a truth or an essence. So that's the way that we are as thinkers brought up in our history. And the problem with that, if there is a center or an essence or an origin, then everything else becomes marginalized or repressed and becomes the other. It becomes ignored or repressed. So that's also the case with binary opposites, the plus and minus of things. So if we've got the binary opposite, like nature against culture, then nature is usually preferred above culture, which is like fake or made and not natural or original. The same with male and female. Well, we've got this topic in our news every day. Or chaos and order. That's also a binary opposite in which order is preferred and privileged over chaos. So deconstruction is what Derrida does to texts, to philosophical texts or literature. And it's a tactic of decentering. So what he does is two steps, actually. He reveals the centrality, like the binary opposites that are central to the construction of the text. And then he subverts it and showing that the marginal, suppressed and the ignored and the excluded can easily be as central as the other former central parts. And his goal in doing this is not that he wants to prove that the marginal is actually central, or that's a better way of looking. What he wants to do is to restore the free play of opposites. And you can take a look at things always from at least two perspectives that can be opposites to each other. So that to make that a little bit more tangible, you'll recognize these pictures, but this is what you can do with deconstruction. So at first glance, you'll only see one privileged image. But once you take a closer look at it, then you discover another image. And once you see the other image, it's crystal clear, the other image. But at first it was marginalized and ignored and repressed by your mind. So in here, at first you might see the two faces, and then you see the vase in the middle. Or you might see the face of the young woman here. And then at second glance, you see the face of the older lady. And that's looking at things in an ambiguous way. So ambiguity plays a central part in his philosophy. So we've taken a look at the frame in a literal sense, like the border of the painting. But everything that is excluded from the painting, like art talk, we think that's not essential to the painting. But if you take a look at art history, it becomes inscribed at all the paintings. The way we take a look at Rembrandt's now is totally different, and we cannot see it otherwise than having the art talk with us. So it actually becomes central to the painting. And you still can ask yourself the question, is the frame, whether it's art talk or the literal frame, is that a part of the work, or is it a part of the work? Is it marginal? And in this work, in his essay called The Paar Ergon, he proves that everything that's marginal and excluded, that becomes central once you want to exclude it. Today, you're going to do a bit of philosophy with this introduction. And you might have experience with philosophy or not, but philosophers, they ask questions like, can we actually say this is a true table? This is actually a real table. If it's just an idea in your head, for example, is it still a true table or not? And what actually is the essence of a table? We take a simple object or seemingly simple object, because if we would try philosophy on an extremely complex situation, we will need more than an hour to deconstruct it. But today we're going to deconstruct our thoughts of a table. So that brings me to the first exercise we are going to do. And that is design your own table. You can grab a piece of paper and a pen and sketch out whatever you like, but you can also make a 3D object with all the things that you have around, like this piece. Once you have drawn or created your table, you can upload it to the Miro board. And we have created the Miro board for today, and it is in the chat right now. So after 5 minutes, your piece of work, your art piece, your design should be uploaded on the Table Museum.
Fieke, do you have the Miro link?
Okay, I'll share the Miro link again. Sorry.
No worries.
We are making tables anyway.
You may just start drawing and we put the Miro link in the chat. And you have 5 minutes altogether. Here you go for those who want to use the last 3 minutes to draw directly on the Miro board. Is there a link? Is there a link where people have to sign in?
Well, yeah.
So this is a sign-in link. Okay.
Is it?
See a few tables.
Well, I don't have a paid account for Miro, so that might be a problem. Anyone?
Do you find it difficult with signing in? Just try again.
Or drop the picture in the chat and we will put that on the Miro board for you.
True.
I think if you try the link again, it's working.
Yeah, I can see tables showing up at the Table Museum, so.
Quite a few tables here. And a little more to go. Union, can you put the coffee serving table by Sarah Jane onto the Miro? Thank you. That's cool. We invited you to do that, Sarah Jane. Okay. Just upload or do what you in the course of doing, and we slowly come to an end. And you might still upload while Fieke has a look at the Miro board. Fieke, what do you see?
Okay, let's take a look, and I'll share my screen so you can watch everything that I highlight. So let's take a closer look. Okay, let's see. I see a round table and you can sit in the middle and you can have everything that you want on every side. So it's like a frame around you. I see a table on wheels. Okay, 3D tables. And oh, this is nice. I see the failing book of castles. I've got that one in my closet, in my cupboard. I see some beautiful designed sketches, a round table with a nice glass of wine. Oh, take a look at this. You see a hanging table. So that's really challenging the essence of a table already. And I don't know if this is on purpose, but I'm getting very curious to see a table that's turned and maybe it's stuck on the wall. So let's take another look. I see a table with drawers, so you can put stuff in there. Oh, and this one I also like very much. It's a table with 3 legs, and probably it's glass, or it's just upside down. Putting the table upside down is also seeing it from multiple viewpoints. And here again, a hanging table. Yeah, that's oh, this one is fun. It's a table. It's a mathematical table. I've never seen this one before when I give the exercise. Oh, and here another 3D model. A table with shoes. Wow, that's a real design, isn't it? Wow, this is a fun one. And some more designs.
So many
of
creative
physical
people here.
objects. So more are coming still. I see a table made out of wood. So
Maybe
is
we
there...
want to ask, maybe we want to ask the community.
Yeah.
Did you all expect this? And what do you think about the tables? You might just want to unmute yourself. Or we stop sharing and we see people on screen.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, this is also a fun one. I see a table with feet and a tail. The table's tail. Oh, that's fun. A lot of creative. Oh, and I see a table which also looks like a chair. Oh.
Okay.
I think it's time for the next round, and you can share the next rounds together with 2 other design thinkers or designers in a breakout room. What we're going to do next is the next board. We're going to deconstruct the table. So we've learned from my talk about the philosophy of the frame that once you want to grab an essence, there's always something you would repress or something that doesn't belong to a table. And in this exercise, you're going to make something that's not essential for a table more important. And I've got a trick for you, some kind of technique to deconstruct. Within the breakout rooms, just in 1 minute, you'll have a discussion on what actually is the essence of a table. And I'm not going to tell you what the essence is. That's the whole point. You're going to try to grasp. And then if you have 3 points, 3 things that you would say, these are absolutely crucial to the essence of being a table, then you're going to remove them one by one and find out if there's going to be new ideas for a table. And you can put your ideas for the table on the deconstruction frame on Miro. So you can just write them down on sticky notes, if you like. And if you want to sketch within your group, that's also possible, and to upload it. So Fieke, is this construction clear enough for everybody, you think?
We would just try. So I repeat, we look for the 3 essential characteristics of a table, what makes a table, and then you take one after the other away, and this is how you deconstruct it. And then you find new ideas of what is a table. For that exercise, MIM will send you into breakout rooms, traveling through space and finding yourself hopefully with 2 other people in a room. And you will have 12 minutes to do this. Discuss it. If you feel like it, just find your new table ideas on the deconstruction board on the same Miro, and we will post the link into the chat again for you. So have fun, and we'd be very surprised to hear from you what you experience when you come back. See you later. Mim, go ahead.
I've opened the breakout rooms.
You might want to click on a link if you're invited to join the breakout rooms.
Okay. For us co-hosts, we stay in the room.
So what happened now is that I get a lot of requests for people to access the mural boards, the Miro boards.
Yeah.
So let's find out if I can give access to everybody.
You should be able to have everybody on the board. And I don't think I can help you with this, even though I am on the board.
Should I do it, Fieke, perhaps? I see anyone with the link can edit, and I have a board link. Should I try it, perhaps?
I don't know. They just came in my mailbox.
Yeah, I saw it.
yes.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, no one was in my room, so I came back.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna assign you again.
Or
Everyone
stay
else-
with us, Sarah Jane. Just stay with us. That's okay too.
There's quite a few people who are not in a room or haven't clicked on I want to go. We know
Okay.
a few people who can't do it because they have other things to do. But you might want to click you want to access now.
So, Fieke, may I ask you, what kind of tables do you have at home?
Well, behind me, there's a special table. This is a table where architects drew on with pencil and, a special equipment, because I use a studio together with, I share a studio together with an architect, and he has been in this studio for more than 40 years. And this is like the ancient equipment for the architects. And we've got another designer here, and he has this table, and sometimes I hear, and then the table goes up, and then at a certain point I hear, and the table goes down. So he's standing, working, and then goes down to sit down. And I really, really envy this table, because sometimes I feel tired of sitting in the, but this is not my home. So this is actually not an answer to your question.
And that doesn't matter, because I still want to know what kind of tables you have at your home.
Well, I've got a wooden table to eat. And we've got a very special table. It's like an old basket. It's from the same, it's made in the same year where I was born, in 1975. And they used to use it in the yards where they grow apples. And they put the apples in there. And I got it because, I've been related to somebody who gave it to me. And my husband, he does hacking things with Lego. And what he did, he covered the whole top with Lego, and he put epoxy on it. So now it's a Lego board on top. And it's very smooth. It's beautiful. So that's a very special table design. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a remake. It's a remake or adding to something we call table.
Well, it's not a table. It hasn't been made to function as a table, but we use it as a table. Yeah. And you can also put it upside down and you can put your shoes in, or apples for my part. So it's
Now
a
it makes me
multifunctional
wonder.
object.
It makes me wonder, what would Derrida have thought of this idea?
Het is er. Zeg je?
Yeah.
For one,
Saskia, nee, ik zit in een sessie. Wat is er?
There are still a few people who haven't been assigned to a breakout room. Do we want to do that? Those who are muted, who of you wants to go to breakout room because you've got new company? And you might want to unmute you for the yourself for the moment.
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties today.
Oh, just stay with us.
I'll
Just
jump
stay with
back
us.
in.
Okay.
So I'm hanging out with you and enjoying.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. So what did you think, Carrie, of Derrida and this deconstruction of a table?
I missed part of it because I'm kind of jumping in and out, so I'm doing my best to capture it. But I love I'm actually looking at the mirror. The mirror crashed my computer, so I had to kind of jump out.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm enjoying watching as people are kind of moving around on the mirror board. But I love your presentation.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. I don't see any sticky notes appearing yet. So I really hope people are having a nice conversation and forget about the sticky notes. It might be possible.
Very well possible.
Yeah.
True.
Because grabbing the essence of things isn't very easy. Because once you try to include something and exclude the other, then, well, it's on slippery ice, as we say in Dutch. Because everything that is excluded, that will always play a part in the definition of the things that you want to grab.
I'm curious if I could just ask. I'm really interested in this approach that you've taken here, because it is difficult to get people to kind of to reframe things when they don't have an art or design background. As you know, if we have art and design backgrounds, we have a tendency to do this, and you know, and we've been trained through our education to think in these ways. But so I really love what you're doing here, because it's a really good exercise for getting people who don't think about the essence, who don't think about those elements, or really when you're in a process of design thinking and you're asking people to really reframe that problem. This is a really good exercise to get people to get into that mindset, to be able to.
Oh,
Carrie, come back to us.
I'm back.
Good.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Just start over.
Did you lose me?
yeah.
A little bit.
Today's not my day. I can't start the video. I don't know why. I don't know. I've never had problems before.
Pity. But we could hear you for a while. And what I wanted to say is that I've got like a bucket of techniques to do reframing. This is one that you could call it the creative escape. Well, sometimes it's called the creative escape, or challenging assumptions. But I always use, for example, the alter ego, and taking a look at things from each other perspectives, or a perspective or the glasses of a celebrity, for example, that really works. So if you would ask somebody to take a look at things from the viewpoint of Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, then you would see different things and you would frame the things differently. And that's really interesting how good that works. Just give them new glasses, like a celebrity, or maybe another profession that they don't have. For example, chemists, view things totally different than somebody who does marketing. So it's yeah, you have to those are tricks and techniques that you can use.
I love that idea. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I love that idea. I did an exercise with a museum, and what they had us do was it was kind of a bias training exercise, but they actually had us take transparencies. Do you know what I mean by a transparency?
Mm-hmm.
The olden days of projectors. And they had us take a transparency and write on a number of different things about ourselves, and you know what our culture is, how we like, what our role is in life, and these kinds of things. And then we had to read each other's through the transparency that had all of our stuff written on it. And it was this idea of how we show up in the world and all of the biases that we have and how we see the world is through this lens of our stuff. And so I love being able to, this idea of taking that transparency, then maybe giving it to somebody else. Okay, if I'm looking through your lens, through your transparency of you being, I don't know, a mother or a chemist or whatever, then how do you then look at this problem with a different viewpoint? How do you look at the table from a different viewpoint? I love the idea.
Yeah, and a very strong one is look at things from a child's perspective, like a very young child, like 4-year-old or something, or an alien perspective. That's also very interesting. What comes up to describe a table, for example, to an alien? What is that exactly? And if you use the dictionary explanation for it, then he still doesn't understand what a table is, because it's only extra words that the alien doesn't understand. So you have to show what a table is. You have to show it, and you have to make them feel and experience the table before they understand. Yeah, so yeah, there are quite extreme viewpoints that you can use to get people out of their own frame and bias, of course, because people do have a lot of assumptions that they are not aware of, and to make people aware of that might be very well. I think that's the first step. Yeah,
Absolutely, thank you.
yeah. So I really hope people are doing something great in the breakout rooms. I'm so curious what happened there.
Yes, we getting them back now. Members now getting them back into, but they have another 60 seconds until they finally make it into our main room. Most of them, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I can see things popping up.
They're coming.
They're coming back.
Coming back. They're coming back. Anupa in the hills is still joining us. In the hills of India.
I really liked the point about the inside and the outside, because that is something that really interests me when I'm looking at a frame, because it's the way that you see a perspective. And when I saw that on your frame, and that's what I was trying to look at, is it outside or inside?
Yeah, and I think the interesting part then is discovering that the frame has some width. It is actually very thick, with a lot of solutions in between the inside and the outside. And once you have discovered that, that's the point where you should be, I think, as a designer. Yeah. But let's. I think everybody has come back. Wiebke,
Yes,
do you
we
think?
have them back almost, not all of them, but they're all coming now. A few
Okay.
faces seem very concentrated, still, like Naomi, who I suppose is uploading or checking something. I don't know. So what happened?
Yeah.
Fieke, what?
I'm very, very curious.
And what are you doing with deconstruction?
Well, I'm particularly curious if there were rooms today that had many cultures in them, like 2 or 3 different cultures from all around the world, and if they differ in seeing the essence of a table. So is there somebody who would like to share a struggle of defining the essence of a table because of those different cultures? Like you couldn't agree because you saw things differently. So is there anybody who would like to share their story of what they encountered in their breakout rooms?
I can share. Oh, sorry. Please, Vicky.
Thank you.
Go for it. All right. I didn't have the chance to really play around with Monica's and Alvira, and we come from different cultures. I'm from Malaysia, and he's from Thailand, and I think, or Western, and from Monica. So we kind of, it's very interesting. Like we all have different perspective of table. One of us see table as something that give to be productive and work as well. Another one is for human to hold it. And what the idea we came up with also pretty cool. Alvira, I think you could share it. It's basically
I'm sharing.
The elements of air.
Can all you guys see that?
Yes. Using the
3 of them.
Oh, can it be spotlighted so we can all see it very big?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's about using the elements of air, waters to become a table to bring everyone together and have a good time. Just like that, we have the first design.
It's like a fluid table.
Fluid. Alvira, you want to share more about the fluid? Like how
wow, this is so incredibly outside my frame. I've never thought of a table like this, and I've been thinking about the table a lot. This is, wow, such an amazing idea.
Yeah, and we all started with like sharing that without a form, a water can actually bring the things up. Then we're like, oh, what about, a cocktail party in a pool to bring people together? Then it's like, what about air? And then kind of slowly move into the heat and different elements.
Oh, so funny. Yeah. Well, it's funny, but it could be a new style table.
Yeah. Don't tell it to IKEA though, it's our idea.
Yes, we call this the Magic Future tables. You can actually pre-order now. It's only $100.
I'm going to order a table like that.
And we have something in the chat, Fieke. We have who's Heerschap? Because this element of interaction has been on in your group as well. Maybe you want to tell us about it.
Yeah, that's me.
Tell us your name, please.
Susanna. Hi.
Susanna.
Yeah. So with my lovely partner, we talked about what makes a table different than a shelf on a wall. And we thought about the concept of interaction. So either it's interaction with an object like your laptop, so a table facilitates that kind of interaction, or with people at a dining table. And checking what makes interaction is actually the idea of separating people and how close can you come and how far do you stay apart. And you can do that with non-surface materials, because we first thought the table is by definition a surface, but actually we found out that if you, for instance, make a 3D cube by light or by sound, if you step into it, it makes sound, so you go away. You can create this object without actually having materials. And it still it makes a relationship between you and me, because I can stand on this side of the cubicle and you will stand on that side of it.
So were yours the balloons on the Miro board?
No, we can't access the Miro board, so that's why I put it in the chat. So,
I'm sorry about that.
Little drawing is what I had.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Maybe you want to take a photo with your phone and upload it into the chat so we can add it onto the Miro board for you.
That would be great. Yeah.
So
that was came from the essential characteristic of a table that it's solid, or
and that it has a surface at least.
Oh, it has a surface. Yeah.
Solid. The solid element, Fieke, was somebody else, and we were trying to find out who that was. Who posted the balloons on the motherboard?
Who was the balloon table?
It was our group. It was Manon, me, and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we were also actually, we were discussing what made a table, and it actually turned out to be way more philosophical than we expected, because we kept coming up with examples to contradict.
Exactly.
So for example, hey, a table. Let me look. So a table is flat, but then we realized, hey, a seesaw is flat, but you wouldn't really make it a table, etc., etc. So and then we saw, hey, we have 2 minutes left, so we have to sort of rush. So then we came up with solid, horizontal, and elevated, and then indeed we have for the not solid table or the not hard table, we've got the balloon example. Yeah, so that's how the balloons came to be.
Oh wow! And you've got the magnets. It's like how the world works. That we stand on the ground because of gravity. So you can make a table that attracts everything around. So it doesn't have to be flat or anything. Just sticks to it.
Exactly.
That's also a very, very fun frame. Actually.
Yeah. By the way, I'm here, but I think both the other members get equal credit. So I'm just, for some reasons, in the spotlight.
Well, we can do the virtual applause.
Absolutely.
I learned that from the View community.
You had 2 more examples how to stretch the frame, and when I see what the participants come up with, but you still want to mention them, don't you?
Yeah. Just.
Oh, you muted yourself, Fieke. Funnily.
Sorry, my bad.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Can you help?
Yes, 1 second. I can't find.
Don't worry.
Yeah. There we go.
I think.
Just mute one.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry.
Say something?
Yeah. No, there's another.
Speak it in space.
This is really.
Okay. Try this. The iPad.
Star Trek Fieke.
For the radio voice.
Yes.
So am I?
Yes. Now we can hear you.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, this is a perfect example of failing forwards.
Absolutely.
So 2 devices with microphones in it. Okay, I want to share 2 like radical frames on tables. And I read a book once. It's called Professor Ma's Lecture. And this is about a professor who is a termite. So he's a termite professor, and he studies human beings. And at one point, he says in the book, those human beings, they are so stupid because they only know the outside of things. But termites, they are on the inside of things. They know their way in the table. So as human beings, how could we ever know the truth about the table? Because we are never in the table. So that's a different viewpoint. And then I've got another extreme frame. And I'm very intrigued by conceptual art. And this is one of the conceptual art pieces that I love. It's by Joseph Kosuth. And he puts, in history, at one point, he put a table in the museum and a photograph of a table, and then next to it, a dictionary explanation of a table. Now the question is, if you see the photograph, is that a table? Like Margriet also raised the question, Cezine Bazumpom, if I draw or take a picture of something, does it really exist? Does it prove the being of the table or the existence of the table? And is it still a table? And then moving to the dictionary explanation of a table, it's almost like if you think of a table, does it really exist? But there are so many things that you can only think and don't exist physically. For example, if you talk about the system, it is an idea. It isn't physical, but still we say it exists. Wiebke.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that is cool, because we have got one more comment in the chat from Bart Edis, I assume. And they assume that, maybe Bart, you want to say that yourself, that it's not, a table doesn't have to be a noun, an object. Where's Bart?
I'm here. If we're looking at deconstructing and breaking boundaries and not being limited by a frame, just to throw out that we could veer off to a different meaning completely of table, and that is to present a proposal, like a bill before a legislature or parliament. That may be too obtuse, but just in the spirit of sharing sometimes very different ideas, here's another one for you.
Thank you very much, Bart. That is, let this be the final word. This is how much we can stretch the frame, maybe. We have come almost close to the full hour. So Fieke, thank you for an excellent session. And that was just very, very, very nice and very excellently made up. Everyone. And
thanks for the session, guys. Really good.
Thank you. And we would like to have a view to the next session next week, because this is a very, very special one. And so it's now Yunyen's role to announce it. Please, will you?
Yes, of course. And Mimp is going to show you a slide. You must know that will be our number 52. And I would say we made it. We all made it. Number 52. We're going to get our first anniversary, and we are not going to celebrate that without you, and you. So please come along, come again. We have organized several fun activities, and there's one special one I want to share with you. And that is, we do have a food fashionista in our crew. His name is Pedro. He has a lovely voice, but he's also to make these beautiful coconut macarons. And you can see that on the next slide. And this guy who is with us today, he wants to make a WWJ cookbook. So bring along your recipes for drinks, for bites, for snacks, also the pictures, because Pedro wants to work with you to make this cookbook. Pedro, what do you say?
My goodness, people, I think we're really surprised that we reached 1 year. It's fabulous, and we will continue. And the intention for this celebration is to try to start some sort of global collaboration effort. And so we'll start in a soft way, just to see, can we bring recipes from our participants around the world, and then we prepare the cookbook and we give it to everyone on our webjam. And in this way, let's see if we can bring some of the flavors that we have at home from our favorite recipes, something very simple, and we share that with everyone. And by sharing that with everyone, let's see if we reach this global collaboration effort. And this is just one small part of our wonderful celebration Wednesday webjam next week.
So thank you all. Come along. We are going to open the tea bar beer pub again for you to enter. All right. See you next week.
See you.
This will be a fun and community-oriented thing, as you might have all understood and hope and feel all invited to come and bring friends, and we have a big celebration. And yes, that we've come that far. So now we've come to the end of the session. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with us. And we can invite you, and we want to invite you to come backstage with us. Backstage is where Mim stops the streaming on YouTube. So this is the unofficial part. Fieke will stay on. We'll all be there. Yeah, and just let the conversation flow. Because
everybody wave goodbye to YouTube.